After the wet etching, the next section in the etching processes is the dry etching. As the name suggests, this one does not utilize any liquid or chemical solutions for the material removal. Hence, it eliminates the use of dangerous acids and solvents which we saw in the wet etching process. It also does not differentiate for the isotropic and anisotropic crystals or the substrate from which the material has to be removed. It gives the uniform performance for both the isotropic and anisotropic crystals. Now, since it does not involve many spontaneous chemical reactions, this process can be controlled by manipulating the process parameters. Thus, we can have extensive control over this process compared to the wet etching. Now, based on the mechanisms used for the material removal, dry etching is classified into two processes mainly. First one is the dry chemical etching or the plasma etching, and the second one is the physical sputtering or ion beam milling. There is also a third process which is a combination of these two processes. We will see how each of these process is done in the coming slides. So the dry chemical etching. This process is also called as the plasma etching, and it includes a large variety of etching processes and the associated chemistries for the material removal. It utilizes both physical and chemical attack of the substrate for the material removal. Now the diagram shows a schematic representation of the dry chemical etching process. As seen in the figure, it consists of two electrodes in a vacuum chamber, and the two electrodes are connected to an RF source or a radio frequency source, and this RF source generates an electromagnetic field between the two electrodes. The vacuum chamber is kept at a predetermined pressure, and the process gas is introduced into the chamber. Now, this process gas undergoes ionization due to the electromagnetic field between the two electrodes. This produces a glow discharge plasma, that is, the plasma will be luminous in nature. The plasma produced will provide a flux of ions, a flux or a mixture of ions, radicals, electrons and neutral particles to the surface to be etched. These mixture of ions, radicals and electrons will cause material removal from the desired surface or the predetermined part. The ions will produce physical and chemical attack of the substrate or the surface, and the radicals will contribute to the chemical attack. Since there is no solutions or liquid substances used, this is called as the dry chemical etching. The sequence of events that occur in the plasma etching process are the generation of chemically reactive species in the chamber, or to be specific, in between the two electrodes by virtue of the electromagnetic field set up by the RF source. Now these reactive species diffuse to the wafer surface or the substrate from which material has to be removed, and they are adsorbed on the wafer surface. Now surface diffusion of these reactive species, which includes ions, electrons and radicals, takes place and until they chemically react with the wafer material. The chemical reaction results in the formation of volatile byproducts. Now these byproducts dissolve from the wafer surface or the substrate material, that is, the desorption of reaction product occurs. Now these reaction byproducts diffuse away from the wafer surface, and finally these products are transported out of the chamber. Thus the wafer surface will be etched or the material will be removed at the desired positions or places. The second one in the dry etching process is the ion beam milling. The figure shows a schematic representation of this process. It is a purely physical etching process and there is no chemical reactions being involved. It utilizes noble gases with higher masses such as the argon. Unlike the wet etching process, it is very isotropic as the argon ions will be impinging the wafer surface orthogonally or vertically or at 90 degree. Now, the etching rates can be increased by increasing the ion density or the number of ion incidenting on the wafer surface by use of the magnitude of the magnetic fields. Now, as seen in the diagram, the ion beam milling setup consists of a vacuum chamber. Now, an magnetic field is set up between the anode and cathode, where the anode will be the chamber wall and the cathode will be the wafer surface or the substrate on which the wafer surface is kept. A sputtering gas, which is such as the argon having high mass, is provided. Now, the ionization of this argon will result in an argon plasma, which happens between the due to the magnetic field generated between the two electrodes. As a result, the argon plasma will be produced between the two electrodes, and this argon plasma will be impinging on the wafer surface at a high speed. The incident charged argon ions will remove the molecules from the wafer material, just like the sputtering process, and thus the material removal will take place. The material removal rate can be controlled by controlling the parameters of the magnetic fields. Thus, the sequence of events that occur in the ion beam milling process are: the electrons are accelerated by RF or the microwave electric field, which produces the magnetic fields. These electrons collide with the sputtering gas provided, thus producing ions, atoms, and group of radicals. These reactive species, that is the ions, atoms, and radicals, strike the unmasked surface of the wafer surface that needs to be etched. This striking results in the material removal. Now, after the material removal from the surface, these complex species are transformed into volatile byproducts. The dissolved byproduct after the reaction from this vapor surface will be diffused into the bulk of the gas and will be removed. So this is how the ion beam milling process takes place in the dry etching. The last process in the dry etching is the deep reactive ion etching. Now we have seen that the dry chemical etching or the plasma etching, it utilizes the diffusion of the molecules, whereas the dry physical etching or the ion beam milling utilizes the collision of the reactive ions. Now this process, the deep reactive ion etching, it combines the effects of both this dry chemical etching and dry physical etching. The figure shows a schematic representation of this process, and we can see that it is very much similar to the other two processes. Here also the plasma generation occurs between the two electrodes, and this gives rise to a highly energetic and chemically reactive ions and radicals. Here the material removal occurs due to the chemical reaction as well as the physical removal, as in the sputtering or the ion beam milling. Now this method can give high aspect ratio features, hence it is also known as deep trench silicon etching process. The majority of the or the different variety of gases can be used in this process, which are sulfur hexafluoride, octofluorocyclobutane, fluoroform, oxygen, argon, etc. Some of the advantages of this DRIE is that etching rates of up to 10 micrometer per minute can be obtained, and high aspect ratios of 40:1 and perpendicular profiles are very much possible, which was not possible in the other two cases of dry etching. Etch depth of 10 to 600 micrometer is possible, and the feature size of 1 to 500 micrometer is possible.